jump. Welcome indeed. I am Rachel Nichols alongside future Hall of Famer Vince Carter and the host of the Low Post Podcast, Mr. Zach Lowe. Guys, we have a jam-packed show with you today, starting with, you know when you're playing that game Jenga and all the easy blocks have already been pulled out? And as you take your next turn, you hold your breath because you're pretty sure that removing that one more piece is going to send the whole thing crashing to the ground. That's what it felt like last week when Jamal Murray went down with a torn ACL. Not only was it just awful for Murray, one of the NBA's brightest young lights, but for the whole Nuggets organization, it was hard not to feel like years of painstaking team building was just collapsing. Here's a group that did everything right, hitting on draft picks, developing talent, hoarding assets, and then deploying them at just the right time for a perfectly additive trade. Denver had all the markings of a legit title contender. And then Murray crumpled to the floor, and surely the whole thing was about to come down, right? Except Denver won its first game without Murray in the lineup. And then its second. And then last night, despite Ja Morant doing things like this on his way to, he had 36 points. Despite that the Nuggets were down 12 with less than 4 to go, Denver kept battling until Jokic tied the score at the free throw line. That sent the game into overtime where the Nuggets trailed again and again fought their way out of it. Then a second overtime where, whose man is this? Seriously, whose man? Xavier Tillman, was that you who was supposed to be checking Jokic? Because leaving a man having one of the most prolific scoring seasons in NBA history that open, that's just crazy disrespectful. And the Joker made the Grizz pay with that buttery three that proved the dagger. The Nuggets went on to notch their third straight win since Jamal went down. And as for Jokic, he would finish with 47 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, and with pretty much everyone around him making the case for MVP. Take a listen.
As far as an MVP moment, I don't know. Life's about a bunch of little moments. And I think Nikola's got around 56 moments this year where he's shown he's the MVP.
Indeed, Jokic is the front runner for the award. His offensive numbers will just knock you over. The more advanced analytics make him look even better. His defense has improved from past years, and boy, does he pass the eye test too, with moves that at times seem actually made out of silk. The season is not over yet, though, and so there are other candidates, as much as it seems to anger some Denver fans to acknowledge it. As we noted on this show last week, Joel Embiid has not missed so many games. He should be just disqualified from the race. Also, defense matters, and Embiid is unquestionably the best defender of those in the conversation. Giannis, Dame Lillard, Chris Paul, James Harden, they'd also like a word in the larger MVP conversation. Hey, Vivian from Lakers Twitter is still repping for LeBron. Oh, wait, maybe not the most reliable source to trust there. But oh my God, did you see what Steph Curry did last night? 49 points against the top team in the East, which is his fifth 40-point game in April. And we're only 2/3 of the way through the month, people. The man is 33 years old, has already won 2 MVPs, and yet this may be the best he has ever played. And afterward, well, there was plenty of drum banging for him to be recognized. Here's Magic Johnson, quote, "Steph Curry left no doubt about who is the real MVP tonight." And by the way, you can say what you want about Magic's Twitter account. I've said plenty. But he is Magic Johnson with 3 MVPs himself, 3 Finals MVPs, and 5 rings. So his opinion, not just that of some rando. As for my opinion, I say it every year. I never pick an MVP until the season is over, and I don't ever campaign for anyone. The discussion is simply just too interesting for that. But I do have an opinion about the Nuggets as a team, especially after these last 3 games, when it looked like the whole Jenga tower was about to go down. They are fighters, and more structurally sound than it might appear, even if you take away one of their most important building blocks. So, Vince, how far do you think Jokic can take the Nuggets this season, especially now that you've seen them function so well even after Murray went down?
I definitely think they have a legitimate chance and a legitimate shot. I mean, the way he's playing, the way their team has bought in as a unit, they understand Jokic is their guy. They understand, and you're hearing it, Jokic is the MVP and they feel he should be. So with that being said, they go out there and they do their job to make the game easier for him as he tries to do for his teammates. So I think he stays healthy. I mean, 47, 15, and 8, and doing what he does, keeping them afloat. And not only those numbers, their record, they're 3-0. Yes, it's still early. We'll see. And like I said before, let's see what the season, like you said, Rachel, let's see what happens in the end, because You never know. He could run out of gas. This is more minutes for him now. Being the go-to guy, it's a lot that comes into that sometimes. So we just have to see. But as of right now, he is the front runner. And like you said earlier, that guy that wears number 30 in Golden State should be in the conversation.
Rach, I'm glad you said what you said about the Nuggets being tough. Not enough people think of them as a tough team. They are physically and emotionally tough, and they were not going to roll over no matter how big of a gut punch that was. As far as how far they can go, look, right now they're slated to draw the Lakers in the first round in the 4-5 series, and the Nuggets without Murray against LeBron and AD, that's going to be tough sledding for them. Any other matchup, almost any other matchup, I'd give them a puncher's chance to win in round one, because we just got to dial it back a little bit. Yeah, they're 3-0. They haven't really played a murderer's row schedule, pretty mediocre schedule without Jokic. And I think the loss of a guy like Murray is going to be more prominent in the playoffs than in the regular season. You have the MVP in the regular season, or the presumptive MVP. That carries you a long way. But that two-man game, that's what carried the Nuggets back from 3-1 down, and Jamal Murray's shot making was a huge part of that. Michael Porter Jr., to me, is the guy to watch. How much can he grow into a number 2 option role? How much can he grow into a bucket getter, a second bucket getter that they're going to need? But I think they're going to feel the loss of Murray more in the playoffs, and if they draw the Lakers in the first round, it's going to be hard to pick the Nuggets unless they really go on a crazy run right now.
Do you think, knowing that that's the potential matchup, knowing that that is what could happen in the first round, and by the way, just because they might not be favored in that series doesn't mean that they wouldn't win it, but knowing that that will be on voters' minds, you had last year where voters overwhelmingly voted for Giannis. You and I were among them, Zach. And then he goes out in the playoffs in a way that made a lot of people question that MVP decision. Do you think any of that politics is going to play into voters' minds this year?
I don't think so, and I don't think it should, because the difference is this would be like if Chris Middleton were injured with a month left in the season and then Giannis goes out in the playoffs. It wouldn't be surprising in that scenario, without your second best player, your Robin to your Batman, to lose to the Lakers or the Clippers or one of these teams that has legitimate hopes of winning the NBA Finals. So I don't think it should, and I frankly don't think it will.
And Zach, I want to just add something to what you said about Michael Porter Jr. Yes, him stepping into the role being a number 2. If he doesn't step into that role to be the ultimate number 2, Aaron Gordon also plays a huge role into this situation, because they can kind of share that role a little bit. Aaron Gordon is capable of scoring. Yes, we haven't seen him play in the playoffs, but I feel like you can get one night, you may get it from Michael Porter Jr. and get it from Aaron Gordon. So they have options. It's not Jamal Murray. I agree with you 1,000%, but they do have some guys to lean on. And the one thing I can say, they still need to keep winning, because sometimes winning and feeling good means a lot as well. And it can fool you. And, you could be going into the playoffs feeling foolish, like, hey, we're playing good basketball, though.
No, it does. It's a huge confidence boost. And, Zach, I do agree with you. Look, this is a regular season award. I don't know how many times we need to say this. It is currently what the award is voted for. And so whatever happens in the playoffs with Giannis last year, with Jokic this year, that's not what the award is for. I have campaigned loudly to have a separate award for just who's the best player in the league. That, I think, would take postseason success and the overall aura of someone into account more. But that is not what the MVP is for right now. And the regular season, well, we're going to have to wait to see how the rest of it plays out to see who ends up on top there. And that's when we get back to Steph Curry, because he is averaging 40 points over his last 11 games. Let's just say that again. He is averaging 40 points over his last 11 games. He scored 20 fourth quarter points to lead the Warriors to that 107-96 win in Philly. Again, the top team in the East. In 2016, Steph became the first unanimous MVP in league history, as we know. Now, he had an 11-game stretch during that season where he averaged 37 points on 51% shooting from 3. So given these numbers, Zach, you look at the comparison between that season, his best stretch, and this 11-game stretch, would you say Curry is playing even better now than he did back then?
Absolutely, at least as well. This is peak Steph Curry. This is Steph Curry, not just the shooting, but the way he moves around, creating 2-on-1 and 3-on-1 situations for his teammates. This is the Steph Curry in 2015, 2016 you felt like you could not miss a Warriors game. If you were on the East Coast, damn it, I'm staying up till 1 in the morning because I have to see what this dude is doing every night. And for better or worse, when Durant came to Golden State, that same magic, that same thrill just was gone. They had too many weapons. They were too good. Steph didn't have to do that. And now you feel like you can't miss a Warriors game. Last night I was watching another game and I got texts from people who aren't even big NBA fans, friends of mine who are sort of casual NBA fans. Turn to Philly, Golden State. Turn to Philly, Golden State. This is arguably as good of a scoring and shooting stretch as we have ever seen, as we ever will see. It is absolutely bonkers what he is doing.
Yeah, Zach, you're absolutely right. My mom texted me. I texted her, she's like, I'm over here watching my boy Steph, because she's known Steph since he was a young pup. She said, I'm watching him go crazy against Phil. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right, the game. So you're right. It's must-see TV. And I think he's just reminding people that, hey, y'all forgot about me. I was gone for a year. I was injured. I just wanted you guys to remember what I can do. And is it peak? Maybe so. Yeah, I think we felt that he was at his peak then. I think he's playing as good. If there's a such thing as reaching your peak and then saying, hey, you know what? I still have another peak that I can reach. He's doing so right now, but he's playing great basketball, and he's showing that not only I can score with 80% of the attention on me, first of all, yes, but he's the essence, in my opinion, of what MVP stands for, most valuable player. He's valuable to this team. He is one of the most valuable players in the conversation, right along with Jokic as well as Embiid.
Yeah, I was in the building working on the ABC broadcast for that Saturday night game with the Warriors Celtics, and the guys in the booth were saying they need to go to a box and one where the box is Steph Curry and the one is defending everyone else. But Vince, I want to ask you a question. As someone who played for 22 years, you crossed all kinds of eras in the NBA, and I'm going to divorce this from Steph Curry or Nikola Jokic. This is not about your favorite player, everyone out there. This is just a broader question. We have seen huge scoring inflation over the last 3 seasons. Our researcher on the show, Michael Schwartz, looked it up today. The last 3 seasons are the highest scoring that we have seen in NBA history since the merger. And of course, this season is at the very top of the list. So how do you judge some of these offensive stats, Vince, as someone who played through eras where just there weren't as many points available?
It's just different, and it's tough to judge because when you walk into a training camp now, for me, I walked into the training camp in 98, and then let's say 2008, and then 18, and then so the conversation and the approach was different. A basket's made, you took your time, 98, got a little faster, and now it's all about how fast can we get up and down the court? Remember, from 10 seconds to get over the half court to 8 seconds. So that made the game faster. And then once the game got faster, the mentality got faster. So you still see the celebration and you figure it out. But I went from dunking the ball and celebrating to you can't do that because the ball is now out and gone. It's just mentality. And you see, and because of the stretch 4 and the stretch 5, you're seeing more 3-point shooting. You don't see the post-ups anymore. It's crazy. When you look at a post-up now, who posts up mostly? Small forwards, maybe some guards. You don't really see many bigs. Embiid and Jokic are different breed. But I think because of now you're seeing 1 through 5 being able to shoot the 3-point shot, it's skyrocketing. And it's just making for great basketball. And like you said, like Zach said, the casual fan is enjoying watching basketball because of the numbers, because of where Steph shoots it, where Trey shoots it, where Seth shoots it, where all these guys are shooting the ball from. It's exciting. Well, shout out to your mom. Love that she's texting you about basketball and watching all games. All the time. And it's going to be fun, certainly watching the scoring explosion down the stretch. However you want to judge it historically, here's what I know. You sit in front of your TV. It's a whole lot of fun to watch. All right, guys, coming up, Chris Paul passed Magic Johnson. Yeah, that Magic Johnson for 5th most assists all time last night. Is CP3 now a cemented top 5 point guard all time? We will discuss.